That's crazy. Here, I'll show you one thing. This is a mask from the movie.
Oh, no way. Oh, dude, no way. That's Geeks and Geekettes, I have an absolute treat for you. I would like to give a very warm welcome to the channel, a man who you may know from Romeo and Juliet, Malibu's Most Wanted, the Jamie Kennedy Experiment, my personal favorite, Bowfinger, and a couple of tiny, independent, small, low-budget horror films called Scream. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd love to welcome to the channel, Mr. Jamie Kennedy. Dude, thank you so much for joining me today.
What's up, bro? Of course, man. You're very professional. You're always punctual. I was late. I'm usually punctual.
Oh, dude, you were like 1 minute late because the link didn't come through properly. So technically, I was late. First of all, man, just thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule. You've just been a very busy man lately, and it's cool to see you doing your stand-up. But yeah, what have you been up to?
I've been on tour. It's kind of never-ending tour because comedy is just keeps going. It's like once it's opened up again, we were allowed to just go out, and audiences have been robust, and people are dying to laugh and dying to connect, and I'm dying to get out. And first I was like happy with the year and a half off, but then I was like, yeah. So I've been really been just doing my own thing, podcasting. I shot a movie. A poster was just released like 2 days ago called "Don't Suck." It's a vampire themed movie, but it's
Nice.
comedy, but more deeper than a comedy. You know, I go to tons of conventions. I have a convention this weekend for horror for it's called Creepy Con.
Awesome, man.
So conventions, podcasting, stand up.
Love it. Bit of everything. It's good, man. I guess my first question is, and I try to make these as different as possible, so it's just not the usual. So how did you get into it? But obviously, being in front of the camera, being an actor, and also stand up. But I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. Like stand up's always been your jam. I want to know, was there an exact moment when you were younger, when you saw perhaps a performance, a stand-up act, a film, a certain actor in a film where you're like, that's what I want to do, that I want to entertain? Like, can you remember that exact moment?
It's tough, but I would say probably Eddie Murphy with "I Am Gumby, Damn It," probably in like 1981. When I was about 10 years old, "I Am Gumby, Damn It," when he was on SNL. That really like struck me at that moment of like, this is awesome. There's moments of that. There's John Ritter and Three's Company, how
Yep.
funny he was. That was awesome. Joan Rivers, Late at Night, and Rodney Dangerfield, Late at Night on the Tonight Show. This is all when I'm 10 or 11 years old. So then I related to them, started doing their routines and stuff in school, get in trouble. Wasn't really scholastic, although could be, just found it boring and not useful. So I was just always like that. And people just said, always the last kid, he's the crazy kid, blah, blah, blah.
Were you a class
So it's
clown?
just kind of, but not like extra trying to be, just myself, which was not considered. I wasn't kind of, what's the word, compliant. I wasn't like getting suspended, but I wasn't scared to talk. And my whole group was a bunch of boys who were all last kids. We're all runts of the litter. So it was kind of crazy to be with all runts.
Yeah,
And we all
there's nothing wrong with runts. That like my puppies are runt. I think there's something very special about runts of the litter.
yeah. And we just all just had this, I don't know. But so we're all just goofing around, and that's been my whole thing. So, I mean, I guess I was inspired by stand up and movies, but I don't, stand up was just something I got into because I couldn't, I try to act and you have to wait. Where stand up was kind of like the way the world is now, where people create content and put it out. Stand up was like, oh, I could sign up and do 3 minutes and maybe somebody will like it. And so it's more proactive. And then, so that's how I get into it. But stand up is different, where movies and TV, you have to audition and, try to put things together. You have to be chosen. Where stand up, if I can get 200 people together, I can do the show. So it's
100.
becoming more my jam than ever,
Yeah, 100%, man. I
especially
feel
in this
you.
world.
Yeah, I feel you with the audition part, 'cause I'm trying to audition more this year, and it's a lot of self-tape stuff still after what's happened the last couple of years. I'm all for going into an audition. I think it amps you up and you're there. The atmosphere is you're in your bedroom with a camera against a white wall and you're like, ugh, man, like if you travel there, like I usually have to catch a train in to the CBD. That's where most of the casting agencies are. So I feel you in that respect, man. But yeah, with stand up, it's a whole nother beast in itself, and it's a science. Like I don't know how you guys do it. There definitely is a science to it.
You just got, I don't know. It's a lot of practice,
Yeah.
but but I mean, the good news is Hollywood like Australians. The bad news is I think Hollywood's changing every day, so it's not the same as it used to be, in my opinion.
Yeah,
But
like when you were here, and
you can get a part on Neighbors, and then you start from there. And I know that. How many people really know that? I
yeah,
know that.
exactly. Now that Neighbors has ended, it's all up to Home and Away now.
No,
Yeah, yeah,
no.
yeah, dude. It's over.
Home and Away too.
No, Home and Away is
Still
still
going.
going, still going.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
for our American counterparts, those are the two shows that jump you in. It's like a Law and Order guest spot to American actors. You get on that. Any Australian actor worth their salt started on one of those two shows.
That's it. And because when Ghouls and Ghoulettes, I was saying to Jamie before we started recording, I'm about 35 minutes away from. Did you film at Fox Studios for Son of the Mask?
Son of the Mask, we filmed at Fox Studios. We filmed downtown Sydney. We filmed I want to, is it, no, I always get Christchurch mixed with King's Cross. King's Cross.
Oh yeah, King's Cross.
We filmed all over the whole city, but in studios, yes. And I believe because I believe Baz was filming. I'll tell you how I know. Because Baz is filming a Chanel campaign with Nicole Kidman, I think 2 studios over.
Hmm.
And then the Super Bowl was on, and I was working, and it was on a Monday morning, and I watched it on a Monday morning.
That's there's
Fox,
always those
Fox
little
Studio
moments that you remember. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and they had a great coffee. They have a great coffee shop there.
Nice. Well, when you were filming there, that was like this little storm in itself because we had the Star Wars prequels there, The Matrix, Son of the Mask, and then there was just a drought for ages. And now it's picked back up. We got Thor, we've had Furiosa, the new Mad Max that is filmed here. Ryan Gosling's here filming Fall Guy, his latest film, and Planet of the Apes. So it's all happening again. But like when you guys were just around that time in the early 2000s, it was such a good time to be employed, and it like, you know, Son of the Mask, Star Wars, and Matrix, it generated so many jobs. So it's cool to see that kind of renaissance and resurgence of Hollywood coming back here.
I can't believe it was quiet. It was such a great studio. I had George Lucas's driver. I had all the same stuff George did. It was great.
Did he
It was
spill the
great.
beans about anything?
Well, they filmed, I think, like 2 back to back.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think Hayden Christensen I ended up in Bondi because I liked my place at the W, but it was too small. And I remember hearing that Hayden Christian had a nice little apartment in Bondi. So I took one like right near it, and I was literally by the icebergs. It was incredible. But no, I don't have to think of some George stuff. But it was just no. You guys were so busy. The Matrix, Star Wars, us, a movie called Stealth.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can't believe it would be quiet. Robbie, I went to the All Blacks final for football, no, for rugby, and then I went to Robbie Williams in
Wow.
that big stadium. So I felt like this town was hopping. And first time I ever saw Prince Harry out at a club
Was Prince
was
Harry here?
downtown. Oh yeah, he was rocking the clubs big time at that time. Probably, I don't know, probably 20 years old maybe, and just security detail. Harry liked to
That's
get after it.
you picked the right time to come to Sydney, but yeah, it was a massive drought, man. I like my leading into
Russell
my
Crowe also had a big, beautiful condo, I believe, at the W. It was like the condo, the
Woolloomooloo.
place
Was
there.
it? Do you remember if it was Woolloomooloo or?
Maybe, but
Yeah,
it was
he's
down by the wharf.
yes, that's it, Woolloomooloo. And there's restaurants, and then all the penthouses there. That's where he is in Woolloomooloo. Yeah, yeah. I guess my next question is like when you book a role or when you've booked a role in the past, is there like a tradition that you do? Like, I'm gonna go treat myself to my favorite meal at my favorite restaurant, drinks, or is it like, all right, business as usual?
I mean, it's so different now, but it's like Wow, I have to think about it. I don't. I think it's more when I get the role, I'm like excited, and then I just go and I mean, not now because it's just I've done it so much, but I think it's more after we film.
Yeah.
Definitely, the wrap party was the place where I would have some rituals of good times.
Yeah, you
But
can always rely on a rap
I
party
think
to let off some
immediately when I
steam.
get the role, I just get focused and I'm like, okay, I got it because
Yeah.
it's stressful, you know. But that one was different because I was different place in my life, and they were like, I had an offer and it was negotiated. It was a lot.
Were you a horror buff before Scream? And also just like what was the audition process like with Wes? Because when people hear the name Wes Craven, they assume the Prince of Darkness, but the guy wears a polo shirt, very soft spoken, just gentleman. But yeah, were you a horror buff and what was the audition process like?
I wasn't a super horror buff, although somehow, like the second movie I ever rented when we got our first VCR was Nightmare on Elm Street, which
Nice.
is crazy. And it was a video. There was an old chicken. There was a chicken restaurant, and then they had a video section. This
Mm.
is 80s, bro. This is 82, 83. And so, you know, there was two movies I snuck out. One was there wasn't a lot. There was this. There was a Rob Lowe. I want to say Class or something. It was like a TNA comedy, and I was like able to get that. I could see like maybe girls in bikinis, and then I got a new movie called Nightmare on Elm Street, and we didn't know anything about it. I watched the Rob Lowe movie once, and I love Rob, but at that moment, I watched Nightmare like 5 times.
Oh,
That was
dude.
probably 12. So looking back on it, I wasn't a horror person like Randy, but I was a person that was influenced by a lot of movies: The Exorcist, Halloween, I Spit on Your Grave, all these, Hellraiser. So I think that I had prom night. All the movies I mentioned, I had seen a few times, and I think that in the '80s, that's what we were fed: John Hughes horror movies, and
Yes.
like back arcade, Back to the Future type of movies, and but so I think we all kind of had a more of a knowledge, but no, I wasn't like Randy, but I did my research. And to audition was a whole, that was just a whole thing because I had done commercials and I was getting comfortable in commercials. And then they did some TV guest spots. I was getting comfortable. And so those were easier. Then once I got my first movie, it was really like the first part that was really hard to get was Romeo and Juliet. And I met and I met and I met. And that was enough. Finally, Baz was kind enough to give me the role, and then from there, I was meeting on Scream a bunch, and
Mm.
then I had the role. I talk about my YouTube. People go watch it. Then I lost the role. Then I got it again, and because basically I didn't have enough credits. The studio's like, yeah, he's good, but no one knows him.
Right.
And Wes is like, yeah, everyone has credits. This is the guy I want you to give me the chance with. You don't need credits. He's great. It was Wes Craven to this day. I mean, really, he, you know,
He fought for
Baz
you.
also give me a chance. So it's like those early, there's a lot of auditioning, a lot of back and forth. But to audition for Wes, what you questioned, it was very much like calming. You feel very calm, and it's nice because he makes you feel like he wants you.
I think, and that's really cool that he fought for you with the whole credits thing, because yeah, that can be a thing in itself. But that's really refreshing to hear, man. I just want to obviously talk about the your amazing monologue in the video shop scene with Skeet and Matthew because it's such a highlight of the film for me because you just give it your all, and I can only imagine what the energy would have been like with all those extras and you've got Matt and Skeet there doing their thing. Was it one of those things where you had to hype yourself up for this? Was there a lot of practice? And after that was all said and done, did you sleep like a fucking baby after that? Or like were you on a high? It's just such lightning in a bottle. Just the
It is.
energy you project comes out through the screen. I love it. Like it's just you if it looks like you've run a marathon. So I just want to know what that was
Thank you.
like.
I mean, remember it's 26 years ago, so you're going you're going deep here. But
Yeah, man.
I will say a couple of things I remember. It was nerve wracking because I really had a lot of lines. I was nervous in Romeo and Juliet, but I had a line here and a line there.
Mm,
Where this was monologues, which was good for me to have, and really big monologues, smart monologues, which I didn't realize how smart they were until I said them again and I watched the movie again. So I didn't go out. I never went out. I tried not. I mean, I had to go to a cast dinner, but I reluctantly went, not because I'm antisocial, just because I didn't want to fuck up.
mm,
So I just stayed in my room, said my lines over and over again. But there's nothing like on set practicing. You get on there, and I didn't really know what a wide shot is, and so we did it in the wide, and I didn't know. And then he's like, "Okay, this is your coverage," and I was kind of learning what that was. So he's good about getting it. He knows what he wants. And Skeet is, had a different energy. He's more brooding. And Matthew was also improvisational. So I was like, didn't know if I was allowed to improvise. And Matthew had more experience. So when he improvised, and I've kind of followed him, it was a big set piece that we shot very early. I think I did
mm.
the fountain first, so that was a little bit more. I broke in a little bit.
Yeah.
But Wes was really encouraging, and he's like, "Hey, how do you feel? Do you want to try it again? I think it's great." And I was like, "I don't know. Can I do one more?" And he's like, "Sure." So he was really chill about it. I was lucky because I was like, he had a baby in his hands, and he was nurtured it,
Yeah.
and yeah, I probably slept like a, I probably did sleep like a baby that night because but I had new pressures on. It was like once I got a couple of my big scenes done, the rest of it was just me lying dead for a lot of the movie and a line here, and I got more confident. And once they tell you, I mean, I don't know if you know this term. It's a very, to me, it's an Australian term. The rushes.
Yes.
We would watch the rushes,
Dailies.
and yeah, if we call them dailies, you guys call them rushes. And once the rushes were playing, and they liked the rushes, it was you felt, oh, okay. And the editor was like, "Hey, man, you're really good." So you get that little confidence, and then
Yeah, for
and then
sure. I
that's why
think
I started
also,
loosening up.
yeah, yeah, of course. Like, 'cause some actors either find it on the first day, some actors find it halfway through filming, I guess, but that's great. Again, just going back to how encouraging Wes is, and that's always what I've heard. So that's amazing. But also, the character of Randy. It's been really refreshing to see you embrace the character. Like you said, you're doing the con circuit, like whether it be with Skeet, Matt, other cast members, and it's really cool what he represents to us horror film buffs. Did you ever think that this character would leave such a legacy, or you just like, no, this is, this will be fine as is? But did you ever realize it would snowball like this and how people resonate with Randy? Because, a lot of us are film geeks, horror film geeks. And sometimes, back in the day, like especially with me in high school, it was kind of not frowned upon, but it's just like, oh, you're such a fucking nerd. Like, what's wrong with you? But now it's cool. Did you ever think the character would resonate like that with so many people?
No, I knew the character was great, and I knew that it would resonate. Did I know that I would be talking about it for 26 years later and feel his lineage getting bigger and bigger and bigger? No, I did not anticipate that. I knew he had the best monologues, and I knew that he was an integral part of the movie and almost in a sense breaking the fourth wall.
Mm,
And really, he's the voice of the audience. So I knew how powerful he was, but did I know like the power that he would have 25 years later? No, I never knew that. The character just is so, it's literally a hero to so many people. And I'm so blessed to be it. And it's just getting stronger every year. And it's incredible. And the fact that he died really made him even more of a legend because people didn't want to see him go. And at the time, I just thought, well, I was lucky to get the first movie, and then I got the second movie, and I was like, okay, then you die. And then I started getting other movies like Three Kings and Enemy State. I'm like, that's your entree into movies. You do horror. A lot of people did horror movies. And then I
yeah.
just thought I'll branch out from there. I didn't know that. I knew it was always a good movie, but Scream is not just a good horror movie anymore. It's just a great movie. And now it's becoming it is Americana, pop culture, and not just Americana, world pop culture. And so it's incredible. And yeah, it's becoming the stamp of my career.
Just talking about the legacy of Randy, I love your evolution from looking like, you know, fresh faced high school baby to in Scream 2, you've got these sharp sideburns, the goatee. It's like final form Randy. Were the sideburns and a goatee your thing or Wes's or collaborative thing?
Um, well, like I said, I didn't know how many movies I was going to last on, and to me, I think my favorite actor, maybe the best actor ever is Daniel Day-Lewis,
Mm.
and every time he did a movie, he looked different. So I was really trying to just look different each movie whenever I did something, and so I was like Randy's a little bit more edgy now, and it was like within the skew of the 90s where it was a little, people had sideburns like that. They were a little Doc Marteny. And then if you look at me in the early 2000s, I'm a little bit lighter and more accessible. So I think he was partly character and partly the time, but it was like the dark, more. I was innocent when I did the first one, and the second one, the character did live through some shit, and I did. So we kind of aged good together, if that makes sense.
100%. No, it's a nice transition. It's just a nice sharp look. Transitioning to Scream 2. And also I've got to ask because I do a lot of prop making, costuming, a lot of shit going on back here. Did you do a cheeky and try the costume on at one point?
I honestly don't know if I did. It's so funny. I don't know if I did. I don't think I did. I think I put the mask on, but
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah,
um
for sure, for sure.
I've worn a costume for like promos or different things like that, but I don't know if I ever wore the actual. It's like you guys are
Mm.
looking back now, but at the time it was like if you talk to John Carpenter, they were just making Halloween. It was like a little movie. They had no idea. It's incredible.
And case in point, like that, who'd have thought that would become such an iconic horror weapon and like that?
Exactly.
Like the whole ghost face mask community is a whole lore in itself, and I'm just still learning about because obviously I know the basics that it was a pre-existing Fun World mask. Did you know there
Mm.
is a mask that was used in Scream 2 that is called the RDS, the Randy Death Scene? It's actually
I know. I
you
just
do. Oh my
learned
god, that's
this.
awesome.
I just learned this about 6 months ago.
It's
So
so
it's a
cool.
different mask.
Yes. And look, correct me, Ghostface mask enthusiast. It's different from the Gen 2 mask from Funworld that was used predominantly throughout Scream, and it's called the RDS, the Randy Death Scene.
But does it look like the mask you have right there?
No, it's a lot more elongated. I don't like it. We're going back a bit when you shot that day. It's very kind of warped, and the eyes are different.
Who
Um,
makes it?
It's from a company called Fun World, and they've been making them like ever since before Scream. They've always been providing them for the Scream films. So this is the 25th anniversary one, which they've provided for Scream 5 and Scream 6.
That's not an RDS though.
No, that's not RDS. That's the 25th
I
anniversary one. Yeah, yeah.
I have to get some RDSs.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, look, it's again, happy to help out and send you some links. But yeah, the RDS, I think you owe it to yourself to have a little display because you're like, that was for my scene alone, that one fucking style mask.
That's crazy. Here, I'll show you one thing. This is a mask from the movie.
Oh, no way. Oh, dude, no way. Oh man.
That that's one I grabbed.
Is that do you remember if that
But
was
it's not the RDS. I don't think it's the RDS.
do you remember if it was one or two you grabbed that one?
I think it was one, bro. I think it was
Dude,
one.
hold on to that. You should see how much the Gen 1, which was used in Scream 1, and Gen 2s in Scream 2 that are going for now, about 1,000 USD. Like they cost a couple of bucks at your local costume shop.
Yeah, but it's the legacy they've gone through now. It's like Pokemon cards or anything else. It's fascinating what this. And I learned so much to cons, and it's like pop art.
Yeah. 100%, man. Last question. It's more for just a bit of fun, man. What are your speculations for Scream 6? Because it was very cool to see that you were mentioned and seen somewhat in Scream 5. That was a nice little memorial, and I loved your video about explaining how to get the photo to them and everything. But there's so much speculation, like whether Stu's back. A dear friend of mine, Barry, who has a YouTube channel called Wolfman's Got Nards, put a video up saying, what if it was Randy's love child with the girl whom he got it on with at the video store
That's the killer.
as the killer? Like, dude, the speculation is crazy.
Wow.
Like, we're going deep. We're going deep.
I really don't know anything about it,
Oh,
and
no one
I
does.
like I like to choose that because I'm a fan. Oh, I mean, I started to hear some stuff, and then I'm like, don't tell me. But I think there was probably multiple things that it was probably when they were writing the script, what it was. But I really don't know anything about it. And the fact that it's in New York is just so wild and new. I think that it's just so cool. And all I know is that Hayden Panettiere is back. And I don't know if anyone else is in it. I have no idea if the original cast is in it, who's in it. I know that Dev isn't in it,
Yeah.
but I know there's a lot of other, there could be Easter eggs. I have no idea. So
This,
I'm excited to see it as much as you are.
dude, the secrecy is like Marvel level stuff. It's this is what we've
Yeah.
gotten to.
It's awesome.
Yeah,
It's
look,
just
it's a good
incredible.
time to be a horror fan.
Yeah. And
Mr.
the fact that I was in the last one, I mean, they put me in with the picture in the shrine. I'm just so grateful for that.
Another reason why the character of Randy has left such a legacy. But Mr. Jamie Kennedy, just dude, you're a gentleman, a scholar. I know you're a busy guy, and just thank you for your time and just having a good chin wag this afternoon.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate the chin wag.
For people who want to find you, if they haven't found maybe your YouTube or anything or Instagram, where can they find you?
You just go to my YouTube, you'll see Jamie Kennedy, or my website has everything at jamiekennedy.com, or you go to my Instagram, the Jamie Kennedy, and you can just click in my bio and have all my links there. But
Look, again, thank you so much. I know you're a busy guy. Just thank you for just thank you for being you. It's just really refreshing just to see you do something like this. It's really cool.
thank you, brother. Appreciate it, man. And I appreciate good luck on the acting. And I'll probably see you out there in the set one day.
Yeah, man.
Keep
No,
doing
thank
your
you.
thing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for being so chill about it and respectful. And thanks, brother. I appreciate your time, man. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, man.